Welcome to Inspire Change, a new inspirational and motivational broadcast that strives to empower men in a positive way. The entire series will consist of only 5 minutes. Yes, 5 minutes, as they are designed to educate, empower, and inspire even the busiest individual on the go over that first cup of coffee. Please join me in welcoming Gunter Swoboda, international psychologist, author, speaker, and producer.
Hi everybody, thanks for having me back again. And to all those who've been joining in, thank you for taking the time to tune in. Alright, in the last session we talked about self-awareness and how patriarchy interferes with self-awareness. In this particular segment, one of the things that I want to do is I want to open up why self-awareness is so important and a few ways in which we can actively cultivate our increasing self-awareness, which essentially means that if we want to change, if we want to maintain an inspiration for change, we have to have a fundamental map. It's a bit like going on a hike, and if you're just walking into the forest without a map, the chances are we're going to get lost. So let me speak a little bit more to what the payoff for self-awareness really is. And as I mentioned in the previous segment, self-awareness in my book is really the beginning of everything. I also mentioned that compassion is a good outcome for self-awareness. Well, let me expand a little bit further from compassion. By increasing my self-awareness, one of the things that I'm going to be focusing on is how I register the sensations in my body. In other words, my responses to environmental and internal changes. So it is about understanding what is happening to me physically. The second bit that's really, really important is for me to understand the relationship between my thoughts and feelings and behavior. So what's going on for me emotionally often is a direct result, not so much of my environment, but more about how I interpret that and what I do with it then in my actions. So that's a particularly essential part then for three things. Firstly, it's important because it establishes an understanding of what's going on for me. It establishes also a level of flexibility. I'm not rigid in my reactions to myself, my others, and my environment. By being flexible, that results in me being much, much more emotionally regulated. I don't have to suffer the pangs and pains of unregulated feelings, but rather I'm more in charge of myself, which increases my self-confidence, and it also increases my sense of self as a whole. So once that aspect's established, what's the outcome for that? Well, the specific outcome is that I'm going to be far more resilient. And after all, ultimately, one of the things that most of us are striving for to date is to be resilient, to be able to deal with whatever the universe throws at us and whatever other people may throw at us, and including what I may throw at myself. So let me talk a little bit about some of the things that we can do to increase and cultivate self-awareness. The first thing I usually think about is the practice of meditation and mindfulness. It's my capacity to sit with my thoughts and with my feelings without judging them. So that gives me already a place where I'm going to feel better. Another aspect of it is to practice being a good listener. Come at life with a sense of curiosity rather than predetermined judgments or beliefs for which I often don't have any sort of real groundwork for. In order to enhance that, one of the things that I find has helped me a great deal is my tendency to write. So keeping a journal is often a really, really good way to increase and maintain a strong sense of self-awareness. The other part of it is that it's really useful then to practice a strong sense of empathy. The capacity to put myself into other people's shoes is going to be really fundamentally important. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it today, and we're going to talk about the aspect of empathy in the next segment, because that is really fundamentally critical as well. So till next time, I'm signing off.
Thank you, Gunter, and thank you to our listeners in our first super short broadcast series, Inspired Change with Gunter Swoboda. Please join us every Wednesday for a new broadcast by visiting www.spreaker.com/show/inspire-change, which will feature all the ways you can listen. If you have comments or suggestions, email producer@studio3hollywood.net. Thank you and have an inspiring day.